Awesome. She's gonna catch up. All right. So let's talk about dropping down. Guys, dropping down is the job. Okay. Dropping down is what sales is. I remember I remember at SC2, Kush Serene, when he was doing his vector opportunity talk, he asked the crowd, he's like, how many of you can say that you have friends that have sold have generated six figures worth of revenue over their summer? And I saw one of our reps raised his hand, and I was like, hey, being a Starbucks barista, because that's what he did. I was like, hey, being a Starbucks barista is not sales, that's order taking. Very big difference. Okay. So I want you guys to understand that objection handling and dropping down is the job. Okay. Objection handling and dropping down is the job. I remember one of my first demos in my fast start. So it was this family in Minnesota, loves to cook. All right. And they said no to the homemaker. They said no to the homemaker. And you know what I did? I was a brand new rep. I turtled, right? And I rolled out the door. I rolled out the door. And it was terrible. I never, ever, ever made that mistake ever again. And then I went back and I sold them a galley. I sold them a galley less than a month later. So let's talk about dropping down. Okay. So here's something that I want you all to understand. Everyone that you see has a number on their head. Okay. That number is between 1 and 7. Okay. Everyone has a number on their head, and that number is between 1 and 7. And whichever number they are, that is the amount of times that they have to say no before they're comfortable saying yes. Okay. Now, some people are the number 1, right? They see it, they like it, they want it, they got it, right? Ariana Grande. That's the number ones. Okay. I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. Then there's the number 2s. There's the number 2s. People that, they may not get the best of the best, right? They don't have the like 75-inch plasma TV, but they have the 65-inch, right? They have really, really good stuff, but they just it gives them a little peace of mind to know that, hey, I didn't get the most expensive thing. Right. Then a lot of people will fall into like the 3s, 4s, maybe even 5s, right? Where they kind of shop around a little bit. And then there's some people that are 6s and 7s, right? Some of our moms are probably 6s and 7s. They go to like every single store before actually making any decision. They're in store number 6 and they're looking on Amazon to see if there's better deals, right? So there's people like that also. You're going to run into every single one of them on your demos, which is the beauty of getting to know how to work with all different types of people. But everyone has that number 1 through 7 on their head. Okay. So that's why in training, we tell you homemaker sales are your easiest demos, right? They're quick, they're short, they're simple, right? Because you pitch them the first thing and they're like, yeah, we'll take that. Right. Or they're like, could you do something with, yeah, I could give you the shears for free. Like, awesome. Let's do it. Right. Those are the number ones. Or if you're doing 3-set close, right, they choose one of the sets and they're like, yeah, you know what, let's go for it. So those are the number ones. Okay. Most of your sales are going to be made between number 4 and 6. Those are going to be a majority of your sales are between the numbers 4 and 6. So if they say no to the homemaker and you roll out of the door, you're missing out on a majority of your sales. A majority. 1 out of 10 people will say yes to the homemaker. If you roll out of the door after the homemaker, you're missing out on 90% of your sales. 90%. Also, I want you to understand that 50% of customers buy sets, 50% buy pieces. 50% buy sets, 50% buy pieces. So if they're like, hey, I'm not interested in a set after you show them all the sets, don't tuck and roll out the door, right? Hold the handrail. That's your manual. Go slowly and show them the packages, show them the different packages for the customized options. All right, so I'm going to walk you through really quick how the drop down goes. Okay, here is the keys to dropping down and how to get a sale on every demo. It's my little clickbait thumbnail right there. How to make a sale on every demo. Okay, so First things first, I want you to understand this. Dropping down is a process of listening. Dropping down is a process of listening. So if someone says, I don't think that I'm going to go with the Homemaker today, and your response is, hey, no worries, let me show you the galley set. What if they were like, that Homemaker is too small for my family? What if that was the objection? All right, so understanding why they're saying no is the first step to dropping down. Understanding why they're saying no is the first step to dropping down. So you say, hey, they're like, hey, I don't know about that Homemaker. Hey, Mrs. Jones, no worries. Just so I'm clear, what is it about the Homemaker that you're unsure of? You've probably heard this before. But how many times, and be honest with yourself, take personal inventory, how often are you actually asking versus turtling? Hey, Mr. Jones, the way that you want to be in this demo, right? We don't look for pushy salespeople. You want to be relaxed. You're in a hot tub, right? You're kicking back, you're relaxing, okay? Because guess what? Objection handling is the job. If you go into it and you go into fight or flight every time that you hear a no, right? That's like, you're not going to get better at the job. Objection handling is the job. Okay? You're not a Starbucks barista. You're not an order taker. You're a salesperson. So when they hit you with an objection, hey, you know what? I don't think that we're going to do that. No worries, Mrs. Jones. Just so I know, what about it, the Homemaker, is it that you're unsure of? Okay. And then they'll generally say one of two things. Okay. They'll say something about the pieces. Either it's too many, right? Generally, it's too many. Sometimes they're like, it's not enough. And they're like, awesome, let's go up. All right. But generally, it's like too many pieces, or they don't see themselves using all the pieces. Or number two, it's too much money. Okay. Most of the time, it'll be, hey, it's too much money. If it's anything else, right? We've heard all of them, right? Like, oh, I have to talk to my spouse. I got to think about it, right? Like, just not today. Right? All of those are called smokescreen objections. Because what I want you to think of is if they know that they're going to use every piece and they know that it can fit in their budget, they would buy it today. So everything else is a smokescreen objection. It comes down to those two things. So if I can make them really comfortable in the pieces they're getting and that they're going to use it and that it fits in their budget, okay, then they'll buy today. Plain and simple. There's nothing to think about, right? They're knives. Okay, they cut food, but they're the best of the best and they last forever. Okay. So getting clarity on the objection. Clarity on the objection. Hey, Mrs. Jones, just so I know, what is it about the Homemaker that you're unsure of? It's out of the budget. Awesome. So, Mrs. Jones, what I'm hearing is that it's just a little bit out of the price range today. Is that right? Yeah, Tariq, that's exactly right. Awesome. Okay, so I repeat it back to them. And here's why I repeat it back to them. I want to repeat it back to them because I am establishing a posture of trust so that they know that we are on the same team. A lot of the times what happens is that we get into a battle. We get into a battle with the people that we're trying to sell to. You are on their team. So you want to be understanding. And body language is 57% of communication. So if you're really nervous and like sweating, right, and you're like speaking fast and all of this, guys, we've heard all the objections. Just study them. We know what they're going to say. Right? So you should be able to be calm and just, say it right back to them. We know what they're going to say. But new reps, right? Every time that you hear the same objection, it's like you've never heard it before. And then you panic. Right? It's the same thing they're saying. It's like they're scripted, right? It's like they have a script. And then we just use our script. Okay. So let's talk about the drop down. Let's talk about the drop down. So let's say that they say no to the Homemaker because the price is too much. Okay. The price is too much. Here's the thing. If the price is too much, but they love every single piece and they know that they're going to use every single piece, is the galley the best option? No. It's actually not the best option because they love every single piece in there and they know that they're going to use it. So the best way to handle that is to get them a great deal on the Homemaker. Is that making sense? So that's why you have to ask what the objection truly is. Because if my next option to them is not actually handling the concern, has anyone ever dropped down and though the price is getting lower, you feel like they're further away from saying yes? You guys felt that before? Yeah, it happens all the time. That's because we're not actually solving the concern and the problem while dropping down. So let's say that, hey, it's too much money. Okay. It's too much money. And, some of the pieces aren't really, they don't see themselves using all the pieces all the time, which is fair, right? There's a spare tire in there. You're not going to use every piece every day. Okay. So phrasing is what matters. Okay. Phrasing is what matters. Here's something that I want you to understand. People trust themselves. People trust themselves. The more that you can have them tell themselves something, the better situation that you'll be in. And I'll give you an example here. Okay. Compare the two. Hey, Mrs. Jones, let's say that she said it's too many pieces. Hey, Mrs. Jones, what pieces wouldn't you use? Then Mrs. Jones goes, I don't know, probably not that spatula. Okay. There's option one. Option two, Mrs. Jones says it's too many pieces. Mrs. Jones, hey, I completely understand. Most of my customers, they probably wouldn't like every single day, they probably wouldn't use the biggest knives like the big carving set and the butcher knife. Is that kind of sort of the same feeling that you're getting? Yeah, Tariq, I probably just wouldn't use those big knives every day. Mrs. Jones, do I have the set for you? Do you guys see the difference in those drop downs? They just told themselves, yeah, the big knives are the pieces that I probably am not going to use daily. Mrs. Jones, I have the perfect package for you. I have the perfect package for you. Mrs. Jones, this is almost like they made this just for you. And it's $500 cheaper. And it's $500 cheaper. It's pretty kick butt. Okay. So there's a difference there. But thank you, Xander. There's a difference in phrasing with those drop downs. Okay. Then let's get to the next step. Okay. Here's something that I want you to understand about starter sets. College kids can afford starter sets. College kids, if they really wanted to, can afford Homemakers. Okay. I want you to understand that. College kids, if they really wanted to, can afford Homemakers. You've probably all spent over $400 in November. Okay. It's November 21st. You've probably spent over $400. Okay. I know anyone that likes to ski, snowboard, anyone that likes to golf, right? Probably not when it's snowing, but golfing, skiing, snowboarding, they're expensive hobbies. If you really wanted to, you could afford a Homemaker. But even if you didn't really want to, you could afford a starter set. Okay. So yeah, sorority recruitment bits are no joke. Yeah, neither are textbooks, by the way. Like two textbooks, if you put them like two textbooks is like a monthly payment, just so you guys see that. And we're college students, or I was. Oops. I'm old. Yeah. So let's talk about the starter sets. How I want you to think about phrasing now, right? I want you to think about phrasing now. How do I get them to tell themselves that this is the perfect set for me? Okay. This is going to be a little bit advanced. Okay. So if you're brand new, I want you guys to understand this. This talk I'm giving has a lot of different pieces. If you are new, implement one thing. If you are new, implement one thing and one thing only. Okay. Then come back to the recording and implement the next. Okay, starter sets. Starter sets. I ask 3 questions. Mrs. Jones, if you were to put together your perfect set, would it have a chef knife? Would it come in a blocker tray? And would you want table knives or no table knives? Chef knife, blocker tray, table knives or no table knives? Plain and simple. Okay. Now, they'll tell you, you know what? I want a chef knife. I want a block, but no table knives. Awesome, Mrs. Jones. Do I have the set for you? You could go basic essentials or you could go space saver. Okay, and then you options close. Hey, Mrs. Jones, here's the basic essentials. Here's the space saver. Which one do you like best? Options close. Okay. But they're telling you what their perfect set would be. Hey, I would probably go with I don't really chop much. I'm a meat guy. I like I wouldn't use the chef knife. Don't really want table knives. I want it like safe storage in a drawer, like minimal space. Awesome, Mr. Jones. Let me show you our all knife set. So they're creating their perfect set. They're telling you because you're just asking the right questions. Asking the right questions and listening, that's what dropping down is. Because we are salespeople. We're putting together their perfect package. We're putting together their perfect package. Awesome. Starter sets. They're some of the customers' most common combinations. Okay. Let's talk about customizing sets. Okay. Let's talk about customizing sets. I love page 12. And here's why I love page 12. Guys, I sell sets on page 12. Okay, I sell sets that are more expensive than the starter sets on page 12. And here's why. Guys, the kitchenette and the all knife set, guess what? They're 5 pieces in a tray. The gourmet set is 5 pieces in a block. So when I'm doing the pick 5 special, I'm putting them in a set. I'm putting them in a set. Pick 5 specials. I love pick 5 specials. Right? I love pick 5 specials. And here's where you really get to be the kitchen consultant. Okay. This is all a process of listening. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, hey, I noticed that you said that you cut up this the most. I noticed that you said that you cut this up the most. Is that right? And they're like, yeah, I said that. They can sell themselves on something a lot easier than you can sell them on something. Yeah, I did say that. Awesome, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. So then would you say that you need something that really takes care of raw meats? Like you 100% would need something that takes care of raw meats? Yeah, I would. Yeah, definitely. Like we do raw meats all the time. Awesome. Let's put and then I would tell them, hey, butcher knife, boning knife. Okay. To put both and I'll toss them both on the wish list and then we can narrow down if we need to. It's all a process of listening. Once I have that set made, I throw it in the block or I throw it in the tray and I bonus something. Really simple. The drop down process is all about being a salesperson. It is all about being a salesperson. Okay. So are you trying to help them out the most for what their cooking and kitchen needs are? Ask yourself that. Because we're here to help them out. It's the only thing in their home that's going to increase in value over time. The only thing in their home that's going to increase in value over time. Right? In the last, in your lifetime, you've definitely seen your folks replace dishwashers, ovens, fridges, right? You've seen that happen. The only thing that is going to increase in value in their kitchen, in their home over time. Okay. So again, that is the entire drop down process, and then we just narrow it down a little bit more. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, what piece could you live without? What one piece could you live without? Okay, and then we just go down from there. I'm at 8:45 right now, so I'm gonna pause there. Oh, okay. Jacob, you could take it.
Cool. Let's give it up for Tariq. Woo! Thank you, Tariq. I would like to get some takeaways.